Hey, my Atomic Autoworks friends, welcome back. I'm Lewis. I sound like Ed.
Couldn't do it.
I was like, I told Lewis to do the intro on this, and I go, you don't even watch our YouTube videos, and he's like, no. So today, we're gonna be doing a review of this SC300 Clear Coat from PPG. We got to use it, I kinda like it, I wanted to show you a little bit about it, and before we do, I gotta say, I'm not a tech rep and I'm not a manufacturer for all these companies. We're just showing you our experiences using these products, right?
Yeah.
The comments we get sometimes are so horrible, and then some of them are on point. Like, I appreciate it when people say, like, correct us, because I don't want to look too much like an idiot. But what's funny is when I talk to people from like manufacturers and say, I'd like to get you on, they can't. They're not allowed to, because everything you say on the internet is like forever, and it's like, if you say something wrong, you look like an idiot.
You say one little word wrong, and you're supposed to be representing the company.
And it's out forever. So I see it and I get it. But what's funny is, like, it's harder than people think. When you're a car guy and a bike guy and a truck guy, you're not like an actor guy. So when someone comes in and you're trying to talk, like I was talking about the Corvette when we were doing, I had said gel coat. And I know that they've been using
when you were talking about the sanding it, right?
It could have been. I just remember someone in the comment, and they're right. The Corvettes haven't used gel coat in forever, but sometimes it just comes out of your mouth because you do so much fiberglass work, and we use gel coat a lot. So you say that, but then they're like, "Oh, you idiot!" And you're like, "Yeah, I know they use pressure molds, the SFC shit, all that stuff." But
I don't know that.
now you do. Oh, one was actually on the Corvette too, because this is on you want to know the 4-to-1 from Evercoat, the super build that we use, right? The color changing. When I originally bought it, the supplier that I bought it from told me specifically that you wait until the pink's gone, it's gray, that means it's dry, it's kind of like idiot proof, which evidently is not, and then when it's gray, you're ready to sand, right? So some guy just chimed in yesterday or a couple days ago and said, read your text sheets, I'm like, okay. And it says, he goes, it's guide coat. The reason it's pink is so it's built-in guide coat. So I'm like, well, that's kind of stupid, because it's like, if you try to sand it pink, it doesn't sand. When it turns gray, it sands like dust. And when I sand it, I never noticed a real change in it like a guide coat, but I looked it up and he's right. He's 100% right. I still am not gonna use it as a guide coat. I'm gonna let it dry out. I like sanding stuff that's easier to sand. I appreciate everybody chiming in. So one thing I wanna say here with Helmet Boy over here is, what's funny is, we were talking, when Lewis came to work here, he said he'll do anything but body work, right?
He's got me doing all the body work.
But you have seen, we used to have a chart on the wall, and it was kind of funny because I always feel bad because, like, when Keon came in, he would read that chart and do exactly, or want to do it exactly the way it is, but the other guys that were here were always doing it wrong, and then you're always afraid to step up to someone who's older than you, even though you're doing it the right way. And so Keon used to follow that, which was really good, and try to, but the bad influence always overpowers it, I think, and screws it up. But you've seen that, you've seen the people come in that work messy, you've seen the people that come in and don't work, you've seen all that stuff. So he's picked up the body work, to the point where better than any of the guys that we've hired. And obviously you don't have the longevity and knowledge of doing huge stuff, but as far as like what we initially wanted was to bring someone in to learn body work on the used cars so that you can get better and grow. And out of all the people that have come and gone, you're the only one. The one guy who was like, I don't want to do body work, is learning to do it. Yeah. He's on metal fab today. He's not enjoying that. I don't like it. Well, you know what? Metal fab and rust repair are totally different. Metal fab can be frustrating. Metal fab,
I have a lot easier time to do because I'm working from scratch. I don't go to weld something and then find out, even though it looked and felt solid, it's thin.
Yeah. And also, I feel bad for the younger guys and girls that are learning body work and metal work now, because we learned on cars with metal. Yeah. So you could actually put a little heat to it.
I got a sheet of, I'm basically welding a sheet of aluminum foil to this truck.
Too rusty aluminum foil.
Yeah.
But you're doing it, so I appreciate that. So today, we're painting a bumper. We're gonna use this, and I will tell you, I know someone's gonna get mad at me, but we have a 3-to-1 speed clear that we've been using, and I've been fine with it. Price point, it is what it is. You get what you pay for, but this seems a little better, and the price point is a little better. Longevity, I have no idea, but we are gonna take this stuff, we're gonna clear coat some parts and we're gonna leave them outside. And then we're gonna revisit it in 6 months.
We got a truck we can clear coat.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we should do that. That'd be kind of funny.
Just spray it real quick. Do like the the 2 box sides, and just leave it out in the sun and see how it stands
6 months
up.
later. We did that. There was a clear coat company, which I won't mention the name because I don't like to say bad things about products. But there was one company that the guy came in and they were like, you got to stop. Back then we were using PPG, and he's like, you got to stop using PPG. This stuff is way better. So I said what I always say, I'll spray some stuff, I'll put it in our showroom window, and if it looks just as good in 6 months, I'll try it. Put it in there, he came back, and the stuff shrunk like crazy. It wasn't even outside in the elements, it just got the daily sun from being in front of the showroom window, and it didn't work. So I think it's proof in the pudding. And what actually was funny is one of our customers was from Pfizer, I think it was from Pfizer, and he was telling me that they do product studies. So there's like certain products that they have to put out in the elements and see how it works. And I asked him how he does it, because I picture like, with the car industry, when you have seats, they have this machine, this robot that punches the seats for 1,000 times a day forever. He goes, no, we just go to the roof, we have a spot, we put everything outside and we just leave it there. We come back and test it every certain amount of weeks and months and just check it off. It was kind of funny that these big corporations just put stuff outside to see how the elements are. Yeah. So we'll do that. So we're gonna go get this and try this out. Hopefully you can hear me, I'm in the booth. I got my mask to the side so the mic picks up right now. I'm gonna use the static zap gun to try to take static off here. A lot of people question this gun, and I tell you what, it is definitely worth its weight in gold. I don't know if this is available on Amazon, but if it is, I'll put a link in the description. I've been using this one from the Dent Fix for a couple of years now. We did change the little, I think it's a flint, I forgot what they call it, but there's a little thing inside that you have to change once in a while. I don't know how you do it or when. Well, I know how to do it because I've done it. I just don't know when you have to do it, but we did do it. Also, we are using, for base coat, I'm actually using Wanda. So we're testing out Wanda here. I told you we're gonna go through a lot of different products so you can try them out. One thing we found this year that we've been having a problem with is that the expense of all of the materials and overhead has went so high that there's zero profit margins, and it gets kind of scary. So we have to think about every job individually as we do them. And we're at a point, we went through a point where things were really tough, but now what we're doing is, if we get a job in, we have to calculate how much it is, and a lot of times, if we run out of a tint in our mixing system, and that tint's $500 or $600 or $700 or whatever, but the job's a $200 job, we really got to be careful because it puts us into a tough spot where you're constantly spending more than you're bringing in. The auto collision area, body shop side with the dealer work and all that stuff, it's a really fine line and very difficult to do. A lot of work, very little reward. So what we're doing is, on this one here, we needed a tint. The tint actually wasn't in. I think it just came in, but we needed to get it done. It's just a bumper. So one of the suppliers actually has Wanda. Now you'll hear a lot of people say Wanda's junk and blah, 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 blah. You could see for yourself if you like it or not. What I found is, if you treat every paint system, if they have a system where you could scan the color match it, and color correct it, and do all that, if they have that and you do that, odds are you're never gonna have a problem. There are some paint companies that have bad color matches. There are some paint companies that have their metallics and are a little bit, I don't know, wanky looking. So a lot of people don't like this. Even the people who sell it sometimes don't like it. But I was talking with the guys that we bought it from. They were like, they get upset when they hear people say that this is a crappy product because they've had good luck with it. And we've probably only used it 4 or 5 times this year when we run out of something, and really haven't had a problem. But we're using it on the cheapest of the cheap, the dealer work, because we're trying to keep our prices low. People who don't know the paint business, how it works is, big volume shops get the highest discount. So you have your street price, what you come in off the street and pay, then you have a shop price, and then the big shops might get 80% off of that because they're doing such a high volume. There's not, for smaller shops, it's kind of funny. You get a big shop that runs efficiently, that gets the biggest discounts, so they get the best profit margins. They do have a bigger overhead though. You get the smaller shops paying more money, less of a system, so it's like you're making less money because it's harder to do. So it's kind of like this wanky thing where you get caught up in it. So you really got to pay attention to all this stuff. And for what we are comparing apples to apples. And what's funny is the reason I tried the Wanda and chose to get Wanda for our cheaper stuff when we're out of a tint or whatever is because using the Akzo Nobel system with Sikkens and Velorum and all the different stuff, we scan it in. So Lewis will go buff the area of the paint out that we're going to match, scan it in, and then we take that code and we go right to them and they actually pull it up the exact scan that we did. So far we've been very lucky for what we were running into and haven't really had a problem, although bite my words, you know, we'll see what happens next. And I will say one time I was in a pinch and it was a weekend and we had, what was the weekend? Maybe it was a holiday and one place was open, but I did paint a Lamborghini with Wanda Base Coat and then we used Glazerate Clear Coat on top of it. It looks mint to this day. Say what you want to say about this stuff and all the cheap stuff, but I honestly feel a lot of it boils down to user error and how much prep and effort you do. Just like you see, we're using the static gun here to make sure that there's no dust on it. The static gun really helps to kind of reverse the charge of the metal so that stuff doesn't stick to it. And then I'm gonna go put this on, which is this is a tricolor, so we already put the ground coat on. Now we gotta put the top coat on, and my phone is blowing up again. Oh, funny. So this is it. Watch. My mother probably will watch this video. So as we're doing the video, she's texting me pictures of me when I was a kid wearing Michael Jackson clothes. Scary. Oh boy. All right, so I will admit we just had a little bit of an issue. We had a little bit of a run and adhesion issue, which is kind of surprising. Sure, it was my fault with the temperature going. I did use a medium reducer, but it's pretty much a medium temperature out right now. So we're about to get going and put the SC300 on there. When we used the SC300 the last couple times, first time we got the 301 catalyst, which is the fast, and it was hot. And Chris painted it and had the major, like, it almost looked like a blushing, where it was like a haze in spots. I ran back and grabbed the 303, which is the slowest reducer or catalyst hardener, had no problems with it. So we're gonna use the 303 again on it, with it, and we're gonna clear coat this thing. So I'm not mic'd up now, so this audio is probably gonna suck, but we did run into a little bit of an issue. There was a certain spot that the base coat just didn't stick to, which is really weird because we did seal it like we normally seal it. Everywhere else we put 3 coats on, let it dry 10 minutes in between each coat so it was kind of flat. Did the same thing with the pearl. And then all of a sudden, it started like rippling in this one area. So I had to peel it off and sand it, and it just looked like it wasn't adhering to the sealer for some reason, which is very weird. It shouldn't have done that. So some time has passed. I had to let it dry really good, because when there's a problem, you just let it dry. Sand it out and start over again. And that's kind of what we did on this here. So now I put 1 coat of the SC300 on here. I used my Supernova EVO. You'll notice I've been using the Volcom gun a bit lately. It's a 1.2 tip, and I actually was kind of changed my painting style. I used to do a bigger tip, 75% overlaps. That means when you spray it, then you drop it down 25%. You keep doing that, so your pattern is overlapping 75%. You go a little slower, put the material on. With the smaller tips, the 1.2, I like to go over it and do 100% overlaps. When someone told me about that, I thought they were crazy, but it actually works pretty good. So you go back, look at it, make sure it's wet, or not wet, you know, covered. You come back and it really atomizes it and puts it on like even and thin. I don't know, I kind of like it. I've been doing it for last year, and actually 1.5 years, and have had less issues, especially with running. And a lot of this newer paint is very thin, so you got to put a smaller tip on it, because 1.4s have a tendency to put a lot of material on at one shot, but it's almost nicer to double layer it up there. So I'm gonna go through in 10 minutes and put the second coat on there, and that's all I'm doing on this bumper. We'll put it on and we'll show you the color match. We were a PPG shop for a long time. One of the things I love about the PPG, I don't know if you, it's kind of hard to pick up. Well, it's hard to pick up on camera, but all clear coats kind of have their own fingerprint. Like when you sand it and buff it and look at it in the proper lights, you'll see something. And like I noticed, we've been using with the Akzo Nobel, a lot of their clear coats have ribbony fingerprints. So you'll sand and buff it, and you have to go a little harder to get rid of that. What I used to love about the PPG was it was a lot more clear and brilliant, and it didn't really have a fingerprint on it. You would buff it out. I've never, well, there's a lot of controversy with this SC300 so far because people are saying PPG put their name on it, but it's not a PPG product. Like what it is. But I don't know. If you look for yourself for this clear coat, for a very good price point, like a really good price point, and what it looks like now, the only question you would have is how long it's going to last. Because I tell you what, for the bang for the buck, so far what I've seen, this is a pretty nice clear coat. So I'm gonna, like we told you earlier, we're gonna do some samples and we're gonna put them out, use them, abuse them. I might even do a couple panels on my own vehicles to just see how it holds up because that's the only way you're gonna know. And I know these clear coats aren't made to be put on vehicles that you're keeping for a long time and not supposed to be in show vehicles and all that type of stuff. But I tell you what, if you spend the time, even with the less expensive products, you still get a pretty decent outcome. All right, sorry I'm not mic'd up again, but I wanted to show you, we were talking about the color variations on the Nissan, on paint. So we scan it with our computer and that gives us the best possible match. If we don't, I'll show you. So this is what it looks like. So this is the options it's giving for this variants. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're showing there's 5. Sometimes when you do painter's choice, you're close, but these are also pearls. So it's a tricolor. So you got a ground coat, top coat, then your clear coat. So with that, you could put too many layers of the top coat, not enough layers of top coat, and that changes it as well. It's really important to scan it in, but we did it on this one because it's a very cheap paint job. It's just a used car dealer that just wants it looking better. This will kind of show you that basically just going off the factory match color is kind of Russian roulette. It can match, it might not match. Most bumpers don't match the car because a lot of them are painted in different factories or whatever the heck the horseshit is, but they don't match. So people kind of expect that when you have the opportunity to make it match, you want to. And also, this is a steel bumper, not a plastic. And some people say plastic bumpers don't match because they're plastic and the cars are steel. There's a whole bunch of reasons why they say they don't match, but we'll show you in a minute. All right, so I came over to give Lewis a hand putting the bumper on, but he already has it on. And here you go. So you can see the color match. If it's acceptable to you, for me, the truck itself is a lot yellower and darker, and that's a little bit lighter and brighter, but you really don't see it.
It also looks a lot yellower because it's dirty right now.
Yeah, that's true too. The truck's not even washed. There you go. You get to see what the bumper looks like. This was a very rusty bumper that Lewis ground the whole thing down, bodywork spots of it, primed it, painted it. If they weren't so expensive, it would have been cheaper to probably swap these ones out. You get to make up your own decision. You get to make up your own decision on if you like this or not. And then Lewis, can you take us out?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
So for all you guys that are our members, we're gonna go behind the scenes and tell you, if you notice, Lewis always can't even say it without laughing. And he does the subscribe, and we're gonna tell you why.